What's up, guys? NepentheZ here, and welcome back to another episode of The Road to Glory. It is Squad Battles Rewards Day. Of course it is. You will notice from yesterday's episode, we have jumped up a whole bunch in coins, and that is because Bronze Pack Method is living large right now. You will notice my entire trade pile pretty much is full of bronze players and bronze items in general, because BPM is massive at the moment. But it's Squad Battles Rewards Day, and also I accidentally opened one of my 25k packs. I got Ceballos as my best card. It wasn't really worth it. But also, guys, I did manage to clutch out Elite. You will see the final games of that today. We're 23 with one game remaining. We will play the last game as well to try and get A, the 400 Rivals points, and B, another win on the milestone. And yeah, I managed to get into Elite for Squad Battles, Elite 3. Didn't really take me too much. I kind of did it whilst doing other objectives this week and such, which is quite nice. So a mega pack, 225k packs, and 12,000 more coins, which carries us over 100,000 coins, which means I am probably going to sell Neymar and buy Mbappe. You know, I just feel like it's the right thing to do. I really want Mbappe. Ooh, look at those Ultimate Scream cards. I really want Mbappe in my club. I think he's just up there as just such a good player this year. I haven't fully decided yet, but I feel like that's where we're going to be. What a terrible pack that was. That was a reorder pack. But we've got two premium gold players packs. Can we hit anything good out of these, EA? Not out of this first one, unless we get one of the good 82s or lower. Let's see what we're picking up. Naldo, Bolly, Cengiz Ünder. It's pretty dead, isn't it? Fair play. And then another premium gold players pack. Is it going to be worth the sort of 12 to 14 games that I played? No border walkout from premium gold players pack number 2. Rugani. Wow, he's under 1,000 coins. Oh, damn. Hasibi and this guy can just go. And that leaves us with a mega pack before getting into just the norms of things. Is this a border or walkout? Yes, it is. Come on. It's only a board. Damn it. Oh, that's tough, man. Just at least be Mandzukic, please. Yes, it is Mandzukic. That's a big win, isn't it? What is he? 4k? It's a big win, guys. That is. Oof. Feel it. Is way back. Is that you? Feeling good with that. Feeling real good. Guardado can go. Marega can go. Spinazzola can go. Oh, another Vinicius Jr. He's not really worth much anymore, but we'll get rid of him too. Some more stuff to add into the club. And I mean, hey, my coin total is firing up there. You know, as I say, the bronze pack method is going down really well. I don't know if I do definitely want to get Mbappe over Neymar. Neymar has been great for me. You know, his goal to game ratio, well, goal contribution to game ratio is very good. 9 goals and 8 assists in 15 games. So he's doing good for me. We bought him for 965. Let's have a look what his price is now that rewards are out, because his price might be going up. If it is, it might be the time to get rid of. Oh wow, he's down at 960, so he's actually coming down a little bit. But that, guys, is where we're at. Well, I'm going to go and show you some gameplay now. Maybe we change the squad around, maybe we don't, but let's get into some action. All right, guys, as we go into the gameplay, of course, enjoy the goals in the games. The final FUT Champs game, the software footage corrupt. I lost it. I actually played the Burnley Pro in the final FUT Champs game. Of course, I was already 23 wins and 6 losses. So I'd already got Elite 3. I couldn't get any more than Elite 3, but I wanted to play that final game for milestones and rivals points. And yeah, I ended up losing 3-1, but it was a really close game. I was really happy with how I played. He had a much better team than me. He had Mbappe, Neymar, Ronaldo, and Messi, and just generally like a really, really strong squad. Yeah, the last 20 minutes of the game, he literally spent the whole time with 10 men in his box. And as soon as he got possession, he would just punt it up to my goalkeeper. I'd try and attack. He'd get possession and punt it up to my goalkeeper. I'd try and attack again. Obviously, with 10 men in the box against a pro player, it's going to be really, really difficult. But that's how they resort to playing the game sometimes at the moment. Obviously, not everybody. But yeah, so sadly, I don't have the footage for that. But if you was on stream, you would have seen it on stream. So that was pretty cool. The first comment we've got It's from Charlie. He says, you can't decide how good a player is with a certain chem style by what rating they turn to on the footbin calculator. It's a computer and it doesn't take everything into account. You need pace so much in this game that in-game a sniper on Lacazette would not be good as a hunter this year. You're absolutely right in the sense that it doesn't tell the full picture of a player. Obviously, a 99 rated striker with 10 composure, 1-star weak foot, 1-star skill moves, I would take 0 times out of 10 over an 89 rated striker with 5-star, 5-star, and 86 composure. Right, so it doesn't tell the full picture. The reason why I kind of use the footbin calculator or the footbin ratings position thing a little bit to just have a look is because it takes all the important stats for the player into consideration when you're not controlling them. So, for example, if you get a player and it makes him a 93 rated CDM, that's how he's going to play when you're in control of your striker or your wingers or whatever. Obviously, when you take control of a player, it's a completely different story. And as you rightly say, when pace is involved, you know, a 90 rated striker with 80 pace, I would never take over an 88 rated striker with 95 pace, right? So, you know, it's definitely fair to say, but because you can only control one player at a time, I just use it as a guidance almost on how it boosts the right stats and where in the positions that they play. And yeah, you are absolutely right. And sometimes you can get really high rated cards. Like there was a few like 94, 95 rated centre mids and stuff last year with a certain chem style on that were tragic. And then there's a few players that are like 81 or 82 rated centre mids or CDMs or whatever, and they're brilliant. So it's not the full picture. I just like to use it as almost like a guidance for me personally. Maybe I should make that a little more clear. It's in my mind, I know it's a guidance, so I just assume everybody else does. And of course, that's never the case. Dan says, can you please talk about the Nick Run the Foot Markets video? This revelation needs to be addressed. Well, he literally did address it in his video. That is the address of it. But yeah, in general, this game, it's just the game itself. That, like, you know, as much as it sucks that pro players are A, dodging each other, and B, purposely sniping people. You know, we talked about stream snipers earlier when I claimed that I got stream sniped 3 games in a row, which cost me Elite 3. People kind of laughed at me. Now all of a sudden Nick shows a proof. Everyone's like, oh, stream sniping sucks. We need to eradicate it. So it's a bit of an interesting flip on people's opinions on that one. It sucks that people get stream sniped. It's easier to snipe people in the NA because there are less people playing in the NA and less at that high level. I know for a fact that A9 Skills gets stream sniped all the time when he streams, be it champs or rivals or draft. He always gets sniped by the same faces time and time again, and more often than not, he beats them time and time again. Very similar to Run the Foot Market Nick. You know, he said he's like 3 losses and like 25 wins against the people that have been sniping him over the last 6 months. So they're obviously trying to snipe him to try and put a dent in his record. I don't know what that benefits them. Stream sniping just needs to go. It's super frowned upon in every other community. You know, in Fortnite, you can report players for stream sniping. Epic Games will look into whether or not they did, you know, based on them jumping in and out of lobbies, and they will ban those accounts. EA don't really have a stance on stream sniping. I think the FIFA community in general seems to, like I say, really think that stream sniping isn't a problem. We discussed previously why I think it is a problem. By the way, this guy here, he subbed on Bash and Schweinsteiger for Gendouzi. When he paused it, his team was so good with like Vieira and such. When he paused it, I Googled his name. He was streaming at the time. He was 21-3, and I beat him to make him 21-4. And this was the game that got me into Elite. So glad I did beat him, because if I didn't, I would have ended up finishing on 22 wins this week instead of 23, because that last game, as I say, was against the Burnley Pro. And I don't know if he stream sniped me or not either. I don't think he did. I don't want to come out and say every time I lose a game or come up against a pro player, it's a stream snipe. But I had 1 game left after I played all my games, and I played that one on stream. And that's the game where I come up against a pro player. So say what you will. But yeah, we've talked about the benefits of what people get when they stream snipe someone. And just in general, the way the matchmaking system should be. You know, Run the Foot Market Nick, if he plays 30 games, he should come up against 30 people that don't know that they're about to come up against him. He shouldn't come up against 22 or 24 people that he would normally come up against, and then 6 or 8 people that are purposely trying to make his run-in a little more difficult, whether or not he beats them, right? So I think that's something that EA need to address. What's more important and more prominent is the fact that pro players are dodging each other, and have been for the longest time. Everybody did it, right? Last year, it was so easy to do it because you just played home only, right? As long as you played home only, you would typically avoid each other. And it creates an imbalance in the top 100 and the elite tiers and everything. And it has a massive knock-on effect, which we're going to talk about for rivals in a second as well. It has a massive knock-on effect for those people that gets lower and lower. For example, myself, you know, if these pros are all dodging each other, let's say 2 people that are 25-0 in you know, a crazy world would have matched up against each other, right? Let's say like they would have just randomly searched against each other, they would have matched up against each other, but they both know that they're about to search. So one says, hey, I'm searching now, don't search. The other says, no worries, I'll wait. And then instead of that guy that's 25-0 that would have matched up against the other guy that's 25-0, I at 23-6, because I'm still plus 15 form, now match up against that pro, right? Now all of a sudden I'm playing against someone I shouldn't have been playing against, because he's decided to dodge another pro, which in turn would knock my form down, which would then, on the next game, unless it's obviously the last game or 2, the next game would then cause me to play at a little bit of a lower form, and then eventually play somebody else that I shouldn't be playing against, because they shouldn't be playing against somebody on my form, which will then knock them down a level of form, and it will have a massive knock-on effect where it costs so many people rewards. Even if it's only 1 or 2 wins a weekend, it has like a really bad like pyramid effect where it causes some big problems. Doesn't really get talked about much until now, obviously. And yeah, I think in terms of pro players dodging each other, whilst it sucks, and I hope EA remedy it in whichever way they should, and I hope the pros just stop like going after the content creators. It's irrelevant, it's unnecessary. And it doesn't, I think Run the Foot Market, Nick said it perfectly himself. You don't get anything out of it. You don't gain anything from beating him. Like it doesn't, or losing to him. You gain nothing. You're still just the same pro player that you was before, with either an extra win or an extra loss. It doesn't change the world, right? I think the problem is the game itself and the way EA set Weekend League up. We've talked about it since FIFA 17. Weekend League is the most horrific, stupid, competitive game mode for multiple reasons, and it needs to go. Where, once again, I agree with Run the Foot Market, Nick, it needs to go. If it went, it would have positive implications for Foot Rivals. So in Foot Rivals right now, we've got objectives. You can see me doing the objectives here. I'm doing these at a really high elo, and I tweeted out saying that I'm basically going to relegate myself down to Division 6 to complete these and then pull myself back up, right? And some people agreed, some people are like, I'm doing that already. A lot of people took offense to that as well, because they're like, oh, why should we have to play you? That's not fair. But it's also, it again causes the creation of, it's not fair because of the way EA set this game up. I'm already playing against people who have quite clearly relegated themselves, so now it's not fair on me. So I'm playing against high-level Division 2 players and Division 1 players, and I'm a high-level Division 3 player. So I'm already getting that. It's also not fair that people in Division 1, 2, and 3, they don't typically care about Jekko Scream card, really icon swaps cards, nor do they really care about the Zaha at level 30. So they're not working towards these. They care about practicing, improving, and getting the best that they can so that they can try and get good results in Foot Champs. So they're coming at me with their top teams and their top players, with their play styles that are super, super, super competitive at the highest division. And I'm sitting there expected to be able to start scoring goals with silver cards and scoring crosses and scoring goals in general with Lukaku and getting, you know, assists with Lukaku. I mean, look at this. I mean, this team's not the greatest, and he's actually doing the objective because of some of his players. But generally speaking, it's like the way that EA have kind of set up Rivals, it makes it bad. And I'm spending so long taking draws and then the odd win and then the odd loss, and it's going to take me like 10, 15, 20, 30 games to complete this Screamer Jekko. And on the one hand, people are like, well, I thought you wanted the grind. I like objectives that I can grind. I don't like objectives that are a chore to play because of the backwards system that EA have put them in. And so instead of me playing 20 or 30 games, end up dropping 100, 150, 200 points over hours and days, I might as well just accelerate the process, relegate myself down, bring myself back up, and be done with it, right? All EA need to do is just make an objectives-based game mode, problem solved. Now some people playing there, but if they removed FUT Champs and made it so that your skill rating is how you placed in FUT Rivals, which is how pretty much every other game does it. But if they remove FUT Champs and had, you know, the top 100, or let's say for qualifiers, it's the top 64, right? So the top 64 skill rating are the top 64 players that qualify. Now all of a sudden, nobody's going to be dropping themselves down to complete objectives because they're going to be having to play each other and play to keep their skill rating high to try and get and break into that top 64 for qualifiers, top 100 for rewards. And then outside of that, you can have a skill rating that is marked as elite, you know, 2% or 3% of players for Elite 1, 5% for Elite 2, 10% for Elite 3, Gold 1, as they do it anyway, and just do it on skill rating instead. And it would be a much less toxic atmosphere, but they would need to accompany that with a casual mode where people can grind objectives. So I don't know if I'm actually going to relegate myself down or not. Like there was a big stink about it. People are doing it anyway. And it is stressful and frustrating coming up against these super players with their super teams whilst I'm sitting there playing with like Bufuma and Lukaku up front. Like you just can't compete, and it makes it just unbelievably unenjoyable. So I might just grind through and just take the losses as I take them and go down. But it will just take a whole bunch of games to get there. As you can see there, I didn't even score in that 1-0 loss because I'm sitting there so hard trying to cross to Lukaku, and it's just impossible against these top tier teams and these top tier players. Like this guy, for example, doesn't necessarily have the greatest team, but he quite clearly had relegated himself down from at least Division 2, maybe Division 1, because he was just such a brilliant player, and we ended up getting a 0-0 draw, which was, again, pretty dead and just an utter waste of 20 minutes. So as I say, I'd probably prefer to relegate myself down, get myself the objective, and then pull myself back up. But if people are like crazy offended by that, I won't bother, because I just don't need that kind of stress in my life. But yeah, EA have got Champs and Rivals massively wrong right now, and it's causing everybody to... It's just causing a toxic atmosphere between the player base, the pros against the pros against content creators, people that are just in Rivals in general that are just being toxic and either relegating themselves or being toxic in game, and the whole community is like imploding via toxicity, and it's on EA, the creators of the game, to remedy it. It's not our job to fix it, because for every one person that says, do you know what, I'm not going to be toxic, I'm going to skip replays and just carry on as normal, there's still 100 out there that aren't. And you putting that positive in the world isn't going to spread thick enough or fast enough to stop everyone from doing it. So it's on EA to change the way that they adapt this game for people to stop it. But that, guys, is going to be the end of the video for today. If you did enjoy it, be sure to leave a like, rate, and comment, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. It'd be super interesting to hear your thoughts about this in the comment section below. But for now, guys, I'm out. Peace.